So this weekend, for the first time in 70 years, we have a coronation. Have you got your bunting up? Have you made a coronation quiche? Or is it really not your thing? Keen to ensure the best view, some people pitched their tents on the Mall 2 days ago, while others have instead been phoning radio shows, voicing their opposition and sharing their plans to protest. Rest assured, I'm not going to comment on such constitutional matters. But as someone who likes a bit of history, I have been drawn to a few of the different elements that will feature. And a coronation is not short of a ritual or some ceremonial symbolism. There will be processions and pageantry, oaths and orbs, sceptres and swords, and of course a crown. But have you heard about the King's Champion? Dating back to the 11th century, the King's Champion traditionally wears full armour and rides on horseback. They are tasked with challenging anyone who contests the new monarch's entitlement to the throne to trial by combat. So perhaps those protesters better watch out. What about the Sword of Mercy? Have you heard about that? It's one of 3 swords which are carried unsheathed and pointing upwards in the coronation procession. Accompanied by 2 swords of justice, the Sword of Mercy has had its tip removed so that it no longer functions as a weapon. Apparently, it's a ritual representation of kingly values. To be fair, rituals, royal or otherwise, are nothing new or unusual. Rituals come in many different forms and are practiced in cultures the world over and have been throughout human history. Christenings, graduations, ordinations, weddings and funerals. Life is full of ritual and ceremonies of meaning. While we are often forming rituals based on our values, research suggests that they can also reduce anxiety, increase happiness, improve social bonding, and even reduce the impact of grief. Of course, the Christian faith has its fair share of ritual and symbolism. The washing of feet, the breaking of bread, a crown of thorns, a wooden cross, an empty tomb. Each an act or sign of symbolism and meaning. Rituals that promote values of a different king: humility, simplicity, service and sacrifice. Whether you are tuning into the coronation or not, whether you are up for blunt swords or broken bread, what rituals do you have in your life? Do they bring you meaning? Are they helpful? Do they represent your values? Do your daily rituals, your everyday habits reflect what or who is important to you? If not, why not? Perhaps they could. Perhaps they should.